Hey everyone, hope everybody has had a great week so far and a great May. My name is Connor Parkinson. I'm the product manager here at Cloud Storage Security, and I'm also a contributing member of Casmer Labs, our internal threat laboratory. Uh, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the last about a month, and there's a couple major stories which we're going to cover today in our threat report for the week of May 18th. The major story is the Coinbase incident, and this was reported on May 15th. So just about 2 weeks ago as the time of recording this video. Essentially, a bunch of cyber actors actually bribed internal Coinbase employees. They were overseas and they were support employees, particularly, to basically exfiltrate and send the cyber actors information. So this information included, let's go up here, full names, phone numbers, email addresses, the regular, essentially, in most data breaches. But what's particularly interesting here are the partially redacted bank account numbers and the partially redacted social security numbers. And so the primary risk of this is that, well, no passwords or username and password combinations were leaked. These could be used to supplement social engineering and especially phishing schemes. So those bank account numbers and those social security numbers could be used to make their efforts seem more legitimate. In order to prevent this, you need an activity monitoring solution, something that's going to actually check for internal threats, anomaly reporting, for example, the support workers. I'm sure that they didn't really need a ton of information, but there needed to have been a solution in place that would detect that anomaly of potentially hundreds of gigabytes of data being downloaded and leaving Coinbase's environment. So if you'd like to learn more about activity monitoring solutions and a little bit more about what the Coinbase incident kind of looked like, make sure you visit our article on our site, cloudstoragesecurity.com, and check it out there. The next major story is Hazy Hawk. And so this is an interesting one because it's actually nothing really new. Hijacking, basically, CNAME records has been around for quite a long time, but Hazy Hawk in particular, it's a group of threat actors, has kind of gained notoriety because they've hit a number of pretty significant targets, including the Center for Disease Control, the US CDC. That's a big deal. A couple of accounting corporations, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, and then also Berkeley University, as well as a number of other high-profile research institutions have been hit by these guys. So essentially what they did and what they're doing is finding CNAME records for resources that have been deprecated, but the CNAME record has not been deleted or otherwise, redacted or whatever it might be. And they're using that record to basically redirect victims to a pipeline of malicious content. And so this malicious content in particular is pretty nasty. A lot of it is scareware with an end goal of having people download pieces of malware, ransomware, whatever it might be, and also, again, phishing and social engineering campaigns. So these hijacked DNS records essentially funnel people into a larger campaign that can cause more damage down the road. We recommend, and a lot of other experts recommend, that whenever you can, make sure when you deprecate a resource, you get rid of the CNAME DNS record. It's the easiest way to prevent these kinds of issues. The final major story we're going to cover today, it's another data breach. I wrote in the article, but who's counting? There's been over a dozen so far high-profile data breaches, particularly with misconfigured or publicly accessible Amazon S3 buckets. And so it's not great. 5.7 million records, most of which were actually resumes. So kind of a similar story to the Coinbase incident where it's not username and passwords, but this information can be used to supplement social engineering schemes. It's still a catastrophe for all parties involved, HireClick as well as their employees and their customers. We recently saw research, billions of files are publicly accessible on the internet and about 660,000 publicly accessible buckets. So across AWS, Azure, Oracle, GCP, Alibaba, whatever it might be. That's the gist of the story. Make sure that you have something, or rather training your employees to make sure that they're proactively checking for these publicly accessible buckets and other misconfigurations. That's number one. And then number two is, of course, make sure that you have a solution in place that can do this work for you, because human error is real. The human element in everything is we find the limiting factor in a lot of security cases and security incidents. And there's only so many buckets that a human can effectively check to make sure that they are properly configured. With that being said, check out the article on our site, cloudstoragesecurity.com. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be in touch in another couple weeks for another threat report. Thank you.